We could have played that for 15 more seconds. I might try and...
I'm going to adjust the camera just a skosh.
No, that's not
We're live? Yeah, we're live. This is Vivaldi. Shut us down for this.
It's very somber.
You're almost too tall for the camera, bro.
I've done this before. It could be that Sarah's too short.
That's true.
Contrast.
Yeah.
The juxtaposition, if you will.
You're on Facebook? I'll get it on YouTube just in case.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Probably should turn on the Wi-Fi.
The problem is that if I'm on YouTube, it stops the music. I'll get on.
Is it really?
Because it wants to play YouTube. This is one of my favorite pieces of classical music.
Is this what we listened to in the cart with Nicole?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This piece, it gets hard. I mean,
It does.
Ooh,
It
gets
does.
my blood going.
I don't know what it is, but for some reason, on the camera, on YouTube, you look just like a giant.
I'm a giant.
Well, you're a large man, but you are just enormous in comparison to Sarah.
Sarah's a petite woman. I'm a very large man.
It's true.
I mean, it's awesome. You should be proud of the size that you take up on that screen. Like a giant. Well, you're a large man.
Oh.
It's good. It's good.
Didn't get enough violin lessons as a kid.
Would that be the instrument you could play if you could choose?
Nope.
Any one instrument? What would it be?
Still guitar, just better.
But you do play guitar. Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Kathy. Debbie, Kirby, Cindy, Kristen, Tamara, Wendy, Carrie. Okay. Sarah says, best part of the day? Yes, it is. It's paint time. Christine, Patsy, hello, everybody. This is gonna make me feel like I'm painting for like
Brock is back.
all of the things.
I just want to paint everything.
What was that little head thing you did? Yes. Hi, Chloe. Sue, hello. Jenny Ryan, hello. We got Kimberly. Jennifer, hello from Michigan.
Love the music. Let's paint. Hi.
We got Pat, Melissa. Brock chose the music. He did a good job.
Oh, the crescendo. Oh, that's just Vivaldi.
Beautiful.
Redheaded.
So beautiful.
Really?
Fun fact for you.
I am feeling better, Tamara, thank you. I'm back on my feet, finally.
Mary on YouTube says, hey guys, love the music and the conductor.
Brock, people are loving your apron. I'm so glad you wore it again.
Well, it's kind of my thing now.
It really is.
You're on the show one time and then you have a thing. Yours is painting.
Mine's painting.
Mine is this apron.
Mine is not knowing the parts to the thing that I'm painting. Brock's
Still
is an
very
apron.
Steps.
Oh,
I
snap.
get fired. My thing's to get fired.
Keenan just gets fired every time, but yet he still comes back.
We don't even pay him anymore.
We don't.
I sleep upstairs.
Chris, hello from Canada. Sherry, hello from Louisiana. Arizona. Oh, it's probably so warm in Arizona.
Yeah.
Or way warmer than it is here.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Currently freezing out. So literally freezing. The roads are
Yeah.
frozen.
The roads are literally frozen outside.
Okay, time to switch it up.
Okay. Texas, we got Chris from Texas. Eleanor, hello. Oh, you got to start wearing a different apron.
I don't know if my mother-in-law can make that many aprons. I'll have to talk to her. I guess it would just be 2 at this point.
It would. You just needed one other apron for this.
A different apron for every live you're on.
So 2. Fun fact, Keenan can play this on the piano.
Can you really, Keenan?
I can't currently.
But you have before.
It's been years since I could play at this level, but I can't.
I feel like you could.
There's no way.
Yeah.
It's been years. Literally 10 years since I played that.
We got someone from St. Louis.
Woo! St. Louis, how about them Rams?
Yes.
Well, Mary says, gotta start with a joke for you.
Okay.
Why don't mountains catch colds?
Why don't mountains catch colds?
Because they are not alive.
Wrong.
Why? Why?
Because they wear snow caps.
Oh, yeah.
Was that Mary?
Yeah.
Good job, Mary. That was a good joke. We got Michigan, Alabama, Boulder, Colorado. We might need a little extra added to the oath tonight because of these mountains.
That's true. She's right.
She's right.
I've tried.
Do you have those? I'm going to show them yours.
I think we took those home.
No, I literally am looking at them.
Angela is watching from a hospital in Delaware.
Oh, Angela, I hope you're okay. Thank you for watching. New Orleans, Dixon.
A lot of first timers.
Hey, Dixon, California. My high school played the Dixon High School soccer team when I went to high school in California.
It's really cool.
It's not too far. It's a little farming town not far from Sacramento.
Nice.
We beat them.
Whoa, way to bring that up.
Sorry,
Shoot.
I used to be really into soccer. I'm not that competitive anymore.
That's not true.
That is not true.
Still very competitive.
Moved to Missouri, started rooting for the Chiefs, was really upset by the last game.
Me and Keenan did spend at least 20 minutes talking about the game last time. Wisconsin, Nashville. Blake's son's name is Dixon. That's cute. What a cute name. What time are we at, Keenan?
7:12. I have a question from Donna on YouTube.
Okay, Donna.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Hey from Seattle, first timer. Looked
Hi.
at the tutorial for the snowy mountains and it called for a color called deep blue. Is that a description? I couldn't find a paint name in that.
Okay. Donna, was that who?
Yep.
Donna, thank you for that question. So what comes in our subscriptions are paint colors that we actually make and mix ourselves. So a lot of the time, if you search that color, you might not find it. But essentially by deep blue, it's just like a true blue. So not a blue that's too green or a blue that's too purple. So maybe like a phthalo blue would work, which is a pretty popular paint color in other brands. I'm trying to think of, that one should work. But good question, thank you. So, and don't worry, if you don't have our exact paint colors, it's not a big deal. Don't stress about it. We got hellos from Texas, Cedar City, Michigan. Pam, it's her first time. Welcome, Pam. Ohio.
There's a lot of first timers on tonight.
There
well,
are.
welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
You're in for a treat.
It's always a
Sarah's
treat.
great.
Brock, you're great.
Mary's got another joke.
Okay, Mary, I'm ready for your joke.
What's the laziest mountain?
All of them? They never move?
I don't think that's the answer. What is it?
Mount Everest.
Ah!
Classic.
That's a good one. I love jokes. It's the best.
Love Mary.
Mary, you're so great. Thanks for giving us those jokes.
Is it your mother-in-law's name, Mary?
Yes,
Yeah.
my mother-in-law's name is Mary.
And she is great too.
She's so great. Bend, Oregon, Kentucky. Oh, Brock, can you turn off your phone, please?
Who was that?
All I hear is piano.
Please, can you be professional, please?
That's just part of the music. That's Frederic Chopin.
Oh, that was part of the music.
His kids got a hold of it.
This is to bring us back down after that Vivaldi, brought us up. So we just got a little bit of
No, it's good. We're
15 now. Sorry
We're
to
at
interrupt.
7:15. Great fade out. You guys, welcome to Let's Make Art. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time painting with us, then welcome. I'm so glad you guys tuned in. Here at Let's Make Art, we do things a little bit different when it comes to painting. We kind of relax, we have a good time, we joke, we laugh. So we're glad that you're here to do that with us because we think art should be fun. So I'm Sarah Cray. I never remember if I've already said that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you can never remember your name.
No, I always
really
remember.
concerned.
I just don't know how many times I've said it. So I'm Sarah. This is Brock. You might have seen him before. He subbed for me before, and he did an excellent job. And I'm excited to paint with him tonight. And we have Keenan.
Hello?
Is your mic on?
It is.
Yes.
It is always on now.
Good.
I will not turn it off.
He will never turn it off now. And so Keenan's going to be running video. He talks to us, and we randomly put him on the spot. And he does a really great job. We are doing the snowy mountains tonight.
Oh, that looks so fun.
It is fun.
Not hard at all.
And I've been watching you guys post these as you've been painting them, and it's so funny because I feel like you guys feel like you're struggling with this one, but as someone who is looking at your paintings, you're not. You guys are doing an awesome job. But I am going to do the steps a little bit differently tonight because I think that might help us for those who feel like they're having a hard time with it. So we have 5 steps today. So our very first step is we're actually just going to take a little bit longer time sketching out our mountains. The second step, we are going to do all the light values across the mountain. The third step, we are going to do all of the medium values. The fourth step, we're going to do all the dark values. And then the very last step, we are going to do the rocks and kind of that texture. And so hopefully by breaking it up that way, you guys will have a better time with this one. And we have 3 colors. Brock, do you want to introduce the colors for us?
I'd love to, Sarah.
Okay, great.
We've got Orchid.
Oh, can they hear him?
I was speaking your right. We've got Orchid.
Okay.
We've got Deep Blue. And then to round it off, we've got Black.
Good job. And if you don't have those exact colors, don't stress. We're basically using just a regular blue, so kind of like a phthalo blue, a purple that kind of has more of a pinkness to it, and then a black. So just those 3 colors. And of course, use whatever supplies you have. Art is just about creating. Don't stress if it doesn't look like mine exactly, because it shouldn't, because it's your own. Is that all I need to say? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with our oath. So everybody, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
And I promise to have fun.
Thank you so much. I love starting that way because sometimes with art we get really worked up and we're just like, it has to be perfect and it has to look so good, and it's not that way. And also, I just want to say that before we get started doing our warm-ups and all of that stuff, these mountains are kind of funny. Is it okay if I share the story the other day?
I'd be insulted if you didn't.
Because I feel like these mountains are ones that while you're painting it, you're like, this looks really terrible. And then if you go back to it the next day, you're like, actually, those 100% look like mountains, and I nailed that painting. Case in point, I come to film the other day, and Keenan and Brock are just like, we tried to do the mountain tutorial, and it was so bad. They're like, we didn't even finish it. Like, I couldn't. They're like, turned out so terrible. And I was just like, okay, well, let me see your paintings. And they brought them out, and both of them were like, well, actually, these don't look that bad.
Looked much better the next day.
Let me show them Brock's.
Brock's? Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
I think Sarah came in and touched mine up a little bit.
No, I didn't touch anything. Brock is like, mine looked so bad. I'm like, let me see it. And then he pulls this out, and I was just like, Brock, that looks great. And so was Keenan.
That looks so good on camera.
Like, it looks so good.
20 feet away.
So anyways, don't stress. This painting might do that to you, but the thing with this painting is it's one that you appreciate from afar, and it's not because you guys are doing a bad job. It's just because there's such a high contrast that you're not going to notice the shapes that you're creating unless you're farther away from it. So I should have said that in the other tutorial, but I didn't, and I'm saying it now.
I'm glad you did, because I was ready to burn my paint.
And then Keenan thought that he was just like, this one can't be mine, this one must be Brock's. And Brock's like, that one is yours, that one has your warm-ups on it. And Keenan's like, oh, I actually did pretty good. So you guys are awesome, and let's get started. We're gonna start with our warm-ups. So we're using 2 brushes, a 6 and a 2, our usual, the round 6 and the round 2. And I'm gonna start with the round 6. I'm gonna get it wet. Now, anytime you dip your brush into the water, you always wanna hit it off the side of the cup first before you put it on your paper or you pick up paint, because if you don't, it's like dripping and it's just too much water. You don't need that much water. It's basically just enough to dampen your paintbrush. And what we're gonna work on is we are going to do 3 different values. So we're gonna start off first with a dark value. So I'm gonna get my brush wet, I'm gonna hit it off the side, and then I'm gonna pick up some paint. You can pick up any paint you want. Oh, P.S. with these butcher trays, sorry Brock, you wanna put paint along the edges. Don't put it in the middle, because the middle is supposed to be bowed. You put it on the edges and then use the middle to mix. So I'm gonna pick up a lot of paint, and then I just want you to do a square or heart or whatever shape you want. And this is gonna be your darkest value. Usually when it's dark, there's more paint than water on your paintbrush. So you're picking up a lot of paint. Now we are going to do our medium value. So I'm not picking up any more paint. I'm just rinsing a couple times and hitting my brush on the side. And then laying that down.
Wow.
Here's medium.
Magic.
So with painting, if you've painted before in other mediums, if you want a lighter color, you usually add white or mix white to it. But with watercolor, the really amazing thing is the white paper actually acts as your white paint. So you really are just trying to make your paint more transparent so you can see the white paper more, and then it lightens the color. It's totally amazing. Then you're gonna rinse it again for your lightest value and lay that down. And I'm gonna do it one more time. Just keep on going until you don't have like anything there. Because if you look at our example here, even though this is my lightest value during this warm-up, this value right here on this farthest mountain is actually even lighter than that. So you wanna keep on going until it's like your color is barely there. And sometimes that means you're just painting with the color of the water.
With all the colors of the water.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I wish we could put the Pocahontas song in right now.
I really do.
I've never seen it.
Whatever.
You're like, don't know what I'm talking about. Okay.
I told them I'd never seen The Lion King and everyone did that, so.
Have you really not seen The Lion King? Why?
Just never got around to it.
Oh, I feel so sad. I feel like
I didn't have a childhood.
I know. I'm like, that just makes me really sad about whatever childhood you had.
Well,
You read a lot of books.
Okay, so here's my lightest value, Brock. That's a great light value right there.
Thanks.
And if you're used to painting with thicker mediums, you would look at that and be like, that is not enough paint. But in watercolor, this is enough paint. It's barely their color, and that's sometimes all you need to give the hint of a shape. Okay. And then the other thing I want us to practice is blending, or putting color down and then kind of blending it out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pick up, rinse my brush, get it wet, hit it off the side, pick up some paint, and then I'm just gonna put like kind of a thicker line down, just like that. And then I want us to practice blending out that line so it's a smooth transition. So what I'm gonna do in order to do that is I'm going to rinse my brush, just get it damp, and then I'm just gonna go right where that line is, that edge, and work it back and forth till that line kind of disappears. So now that line is blended out. Yep. And if you want to blend it out more, you can do another rinse of water and keep on going. Very nice.
When you blend like that, do you always go back to the darkest value?
So when I'm blending, if I want to keep, because sometimes we want to keep some areas really, really dark. So if I want to make sure that the left side stays, like this part stays really dark, when I blend, I'm only touching the right side of that line. I'm not going back over the entire thing, because if I go over to this portion, it will even out in value, and that dark that I have will blend out. So it really just depends on what you're painting in order which one you do, but just be aware of that. So like you can see this one I went over all the way and that line was blended out. This one I wanted to keep that part really dark, so I only touched the right side of that line and didn't touch this left, and now I still have a lot more dark on this one than compared to this one. Make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Okay. And then I'm trying to think if there's any other warm-ups. Let's actually play with some like rocky textures or lines. So I'm still going to use my 6. I'm going to take some blue, I'm going to mix some black in there with it. And so when I do my little rock textures that are kind of here on the tip of these mountains, I kind of do like an outline, and then it's kind of like you have to play with brush stroke here. So it's not just like a perfect line, it's like I'm just going to like dab it and then kind of thin it out a little bit. So it's going to be like this. You just kind of have to get used to dashes and kind of different marks than you think that you would need to make, because it's not always like outlining a shape and then filling that shape in. A lot of times it's just random like chunky marks. So I just kind of want you to like scribble on your paper. And I know that sounds so silly, but trust me, when I was taking an art drawing class, what we would do for 15 minutes every single day at the beginning of class is we would take a pencil, we'll do this with a paintbrush, and we literally made scribbles, just like this, not looking at it, for 15 minutes. And you want to like do sharp ones, and you want to do curves, and you want to do that, because it's just getting your hand used to how your brush feels, how it feels in your hand, and also the different angles you should hold it and the different marks you can make. And it's so weird and crazy, but you do get used to it, and then it's not so much as like, I have to make this one shape. It's like, I'm gonna make this funky little mark, and that's okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you can try blending out. And actually, I saw this really interesting video too, where when they were doing this rocky texture, they actually used a dry brush with paint. So they kind of did this and kind of had that kind of rough texture on it. So play with that too, because I think that might be interesting to add to your mountains. Usually when you're painting with watercolor and you get this rough line, that just shows that you don't have enough paint on your brush, but sometimes you can use that as a way to add texture to your painting. So you can get some really cool kind of funky lines going on here by just using a dry brush. So just kind of...
That doesn't hurt the bristles of your brush?
No, it doesn't hurt the bristles of your brush. Don't like it just as it's the same shape, it's just a dry brush, so that's why it's rough. But it's good. Okay. I think we're ready to start.
Yeah.
Let's do this, you guys. Okay, so go ahead. You can leave your scratch paper close by if you want. Okay, I gave you a pencil, Brock.
Yeah.
So we're gonna lightly sketch out our mountain before we start. Remember, if you have a watercolor pencil, that might be really nice to use, because with watercolor pencils, once water hits that pencil, it kind of blends out and is no longer there. So if you have a gray watercolor pencil, use that bad boy. Or if you have a regular pencil, just be like super light with it, because watercolor is transparent, so you're gonna see that line through your paper. So I'll put this in the middle, Brock, so you can see it too. Here, maybe right there. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go along and start putting in my mountain. And remember, with sketches, you can always kind of go back and adjust it, so don't stress out. I have an eraser on mine. We can kind of fit. You don't. Brock, you're out of luck.
Once it's on the paper.
Once it's on the paper, you are stuck. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to start kind of like 2/3 of the way up on my paper, and then I'm going to kind of slope down a little bit, and then I'm going to go back up into a peak. Peak is when it goes up, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. It's going to go up to a peak, and then I'm going to go back down, and then kind of up again, and then up, and then back down. Okay? And you're doing opposite me because you are
left-handed.
Left-handed.
And it's, I mean, it's not an exact mirror because my mountain is unique. So.
That's right. Good job, Brock.
I just don't want you to worry that yours doesn't look exactly like mine.
You know what, I was worried about that. So thank you
Like
for
you might be
reminding
doing
me.
something wrong.
I'm like, wait, are you teaching or am I teaching?
This is awkward.
This is awkward. Brock is going to start now teaching the lesson. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and start putting in like the ridges on the mountain. So on our first kind of peak that's right here, I'm going to kind of curve. It's going to kind of curve down and then kind of U and then curve across. Okay? Like that.
Keep going. I'm just deciding
Okay.
how I want my mountain to look.
Brock, you're okay. Okay. You're doing great.
I just loved your face.
You're like, wait, I wonder, I wish I was, is it ambidextrous?
Yeah.
Is that when you're both? So I could show left-handed people how to do this also. I'm really sorry that I'm not.
That's okay. It's not your fault.
Thank you. You're just better than I am, I guess. Okay.
Well, I guess we don't compare, but we'll see at the end of this.
Okay, and then down where it kind of goes low, you're going to do just to an angle, kind of matching. You're just going to kind of go down because you're reminding, we're putting in this shadow right here. So that's kind of what we're putting in right there. And then here is going to be right here. So it's that same kind of little, right where it dips in, you're going to put in that little V. Just like that. And then on this tall ridge, you're also going to put in these kind of sharp lines. But remember, I noticed that on some of yours, they were going kind of straight down. And if you look at the reference, this dark line goes down and then it goes across, which gives our mountain a little bit more dimension. So when you're putting that line in, you're going to kind of go to the right and then it's going to go across the entire painting.
That's where I went wrong.
Just like that. Yes. Can I use your pencil?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
And then if you want to kind of draw in your little rocks, you can, to kind of remind you of where you want them to go. But the biggest thing to remember is whatever angle your mountain is. So if I'm looking at my angle of my mountainside this way, then my rocks angle is going to match up. So a really easy way to do that is to just take a straight line. I usually use my pencil or my paintbrush and I go, okay, what's the angle of this? And then I just move it. Okay, that matches. Okay, that matches. And then what's the angle of this? So then you know, okay, my angle is going to kind of do that. So kind of like pay attention to the slope of your mountain, and your rocks, whenever you put in those shadows, should match that same slope angle. Okay. Yeah, that looks great. And then I would put, no, you're doing great, Brock. I'm going to put yours in the middle.
It's a little scawampus because I'm left-handed.
Okay, so then we would put in a shadow kind of over here.
No, yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I know you were. I was reading your mind. And then we want this line to, see how yours goes straight down? We kind of want it to like go in and then back out.
You did literally say, don't make it go straight down.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just kind of angling it a little bit more. You did really good angling this across, but that top part, we also kind of want it a little bit jagged and not perfectly straight down. And that looks really good. Yep, there's going to be a slight shadow here.
I feel like I'll need something in this region. You don't have one on your...
Well, if we put the shadow in here.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's kind of where that shadow is. And then we'll put in a little bit of shadow here, going up this way, and then these are kind of your rock textures.
Yeah, the rock.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gosh.
And then when you do the rock textures down here, which you can start to draw on now if that would make you feel more comfortable, or you can wait till that last step. But the same thing, you kind of want your rock textures to match the angle on this side of the mountain. So if I were to put in my rock texture here, it wouldn't go straight down. It would follow the angle of this side of the mountain. So it's gonna go over here. Just like that.
Molly says mountains vary in range.
Molly!
It's also her birthday today.
Molly, happy birthday.
Aw.
And thank you for that amazing pun. I
give her a
miss you
shovel.
already. Mountains vary in range, that's so good. Okay, so now I feel good about my drawing. And remember, you can change this up as you're going. There's nothing wrong with while you're painting to make an executive decision, you know, just because it's drawn on doesn't mean you have to follow it exactly. But it's also kind of nice because then it gives you some idea of where to go and what to do next. Okay, you ready? And remember, you want your kind of lines to be a little bit jagged. You don't have to draw those in, we can paint those in. Okay, Laura Jones, this is her very first live. Welcome, Laura. She's been painting with us for so long. I'm so glad she can tune in.
Yay,
Yay, Laura!
Nice.
Okay.
So people are asking if you can focus on her pencil drawing. Her drawing.
Can you do the close-up maybe on the pencil?
You'll zoom.
I could have done the close-up, but there was a giant example photo in the way.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about
okay.
that. That was my bad.
I can get a little closer, but
If you guys, I can draw this darker and I'll be just fine with my pencil lines. Would that be better? Oh, that's what I'll do. Okay, I'm gonna draw my lines dark on purpose so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. And you're gonna be able to see my pencil lines through this, and that's okay.
It'll still look pretty good.
So I'm gonna go ahead and make this darker. And I know that freehanding things is sometimes really scary, but I know that you guys can do hard things, and remember, it's just paint and paper and water. So don't get mad at it. Just kind of play with it. If it doesn't turn out exactly how you want, that's fine too. Not all of my paintings turn out how I want them to, trust me. Okay.
Several people thanked you. So.
Okay, you're welcome for those darker lines. Hopefully they're more helpful. Just kind of keep in mind the angle. So the mountain angle on this way, your shadows are gonna match up, or your rocks are gonna match up with that same angle. Same with the right-hand side, it's gonna match up with this angle. And then this one kind of gets funky where it kind of does like a triangle. But that's okay. All right, you guys, good job. First of all, that was probably like the hardest step. So, did you just lick your paintbrush?
Kind of. I had to get a fine point.
Okay, I do that too. Usually not when it's like has just had paint on it, but this isn't toxic paint.
Non-toxic.
So you're fine, you're totally fine. Okay, we're gonna start with, that was step 1. You guys are doing awesome. We're gonna move on to step 2. We're gonna put in our really light values. So I want you to think back at the lightest value you got during our warm-ups. And I want you to remember how little paint you used during that time, and that's what we're gonna start with. Remember, with watercolor, you can always do layers to make it darker. So if you're not sure, it's always better to go a little bit softer and work your way up than it is to start like really heavy-handed, because you cannot erase in watercolor. Okay, let's do this. Yes. Brock, you're just gonna paint every week, I feel.
Oh, shoot. I'd get good. I'd get better.
That's probably true.
You're starting out with the pink, huh?
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna mix all 3 colors. So I have a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the black, so it's kind of this navy, and then I'm gonna grab just a little bit of that purple and mix it in there, and then I'm gonna add some water. So I'm gonna have this really, really light wash over here to pull from. Robin says, step 1, lick your brush.
Well, I didn't want to tell people that you had the wrong step 1, but
Eat the paint.
Eat the paint. Step 2, eat paint. Step 3, party.
Done. Finished.
Finish.
And we're done here.
Okay, so on my example here, I do have a light shadow coming off in this kind of dip. So that's what I'm going to put in first. So I'm going to take my really light wash here, and I'm just going to start to fill this in.
Oh, it's hard when I use a lot like lighter colors. I have more water, and so it's hard to kind of keep them sharp, it seems like, because there's so much water.
Yes.
Am I just using too much water?
No, you're not using too much water, but yeah, there you go. But remember, when you're painting, that paper towel is your friend. So when I say more water and less paint, I don't mean load up your paintbrush with a ton of water and paint. I just mean you're still gonna have that same consistency, and you're gonna lay the color down, and then you're gonna pat your brush to your paper towel to kind of soak up that extra water and just lightly spread out this color. So it's just a really, really soft, we really want it to transition to nothing. We want this to be a really soft thing that kind of just like slowly turns into just white paper. I'm just sorry, I was checking to see if there were any comments. Kimberly says, step 4, pump your stomach.
To the hospital.
To the hospital. Okay. Yeah, very nice.
Thanks.
So you just kind of softly blend it out. And then we're going to move on to this shadow, and I want you guys to use that same amount of that same soft value. So I'm just kind of putting it in. And also, when you're painting, you want to pay attention to the angles as well. I'm not going to fill this in up and down like I'm coloring a coloring book. That is not the point of outlines or when we draw things out. You want to follow the angles that things are moving, because even your brush stroke is giving information to your viewer of what is going on in the painting. How would it change to pull some of the water off the painting? Would it just white out? So if I laid down this color and I didn't like it, while it's still wet, I could just take my paper towel and try and pick up the color. And that's not going to pick it up all the way, but it might lighten it a little bit. And I'm using that same mixture that I mixed with this first one. So it's blue, black, and purple, but it is predominantly blue. It has more of a blue hint to it. Okay. So there's that, and I'm just going to keep going across my entire painting by putting in this really, really light value. I'm even going to do some of my shadows on the mountain, or my little things that are poking out, which are casting a shadow in the snow. Interesting. And then I'm going to do this crevice here, and you might be like, wait, it's so much darker in your reference photo. Don't worry, we'll go back, we'll add those layers on now. We're just laying down our initial layer. So just kind of keep going on. And always remember, this is your painting. You don't have to follow me exactly. There's nothing wrong with you being like, I don't really like that rock there, but I like it over here. Well, then put that in there. This is your painting. Make it your own if you feel the need to do so. Okay, now I'm going to move over to my big mountain. I'm just putting in my light value. Now this one is interesting because we want it to go all the way to kind of the edge of the paper, but we want it to transition. So I'm putting down this light value here, and then I'm really just using my water to kind of spread it out. And this is such a light value that we're not super concerned with like blending or anything like that. It's all gonna stay fairly light. How you doing, Brock? You're doing great.
Thank you. That's what I think so. That's what I was gonna say.
It's looking really good.
Thank you.
How are you guys doing out there? I feel like I'm giving way more information in this live than I did during the pre-recorded. Keenan, you were there.
I think you are, but it's not too much.
Okay.
Because this was, if I can remember correctly, this was only a 33-minute.
It was a pretty
tutorial.
short tutorial. But the funny thing with teaching with art is like sometimes I do things without totally understanding why I'm doing them. And then I'll be painting it a third time and I'm like, oh, duh. I need to tell them that the angles need to match up when they do their rocks. So thank you guys for painting this again and for being patient with me as your teacher.
Get some of that dry brush action in there.
Yeah. I'm actually really excited to do the dry brush technique for the snow. I haven't done it before, but I was just like, that would probably look pretty cool.
It would look cool.
Okay, so hopefully now after putting in kind of your rocks and your light value, you have an idea of kind of these shapes of mountains. And remember, this tutorial and this painting is gonna mess with your mind. You're gonna think this isn't anything, and when you feel that way, you need to put your painting up, you need to step back about 10 to 20 feet, and then you need to see what's actually happening. And I want to emphasize that it's not because it's bad, it's because this is a close-up of a very contrasty thing, and so we have to put it farther away to see the dimension. Okay. Megan wants to know if you've watched the Bob Ross video like I told you to do.
I have not. I'm so sorry.
The answer is no. You better watch it by the next live or else they're going to be so mad. I know it.
Next week?
Yes. The video.
It's kind of, okay.
Kind of what?
I didn't say anything negative at all. I don't know what
I have a Bob Ross bobblehead.
I have
He
never
does have a
said
Bob
anything
Ross.
negative about Bob Ross.
Listen,
won't.
next time you're filming it, you're editing a tutorial, just open up
Have it on.
Netflix, have it on to the side. You're going to be just like in a better mood altogether. Keenan,
That's tonight.
trust
don't
me,
have
all of
Netflix,
the
you
things.
can
You're like, that's tonight for the
dare
tutorial
you
that's going to
tonight.
be released tomorrow. Okay, now we're going to move on to step 3. We are already just about halfway done with this painting.
Pretty color right there.
Oh, yeah, that looks so good. Brock, I'm so glad you love painting like I love painting.
Yeah. I mean, I love colors.
I feel like you love colors so much.
do love colors.
He really does. Okay, now we are going to put in the medium values. So we're just going to use that same coloring, but I'm going to have a little bit more paint this time. And I'm going to put in a little bit more purple because I like that color. Have you seen, some people have been putting in the galaxy sky behind their mountains. So we probably almost a year ago, we did a galaxy sky tutorial and they have been combining them and they look
Amazing.
awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah, you guys are so great. The only thing I kind of want to remind you of is snow is reflective. So whatever color you're putting into your sky, it most likely would show up on your mountain in real life. So if you are going to put in sky, then kind of keep that in mind. So whatever color you're putting in your sky, make sure it's in your snow somewhere. Or not, because it's your painting and it's your life. Plot
Or
twist.
not.
Plot twist. You don't have to listen to me because you can create whatever you want. Okay. So I'm going to go along. Now this I'm going to leave. I like the softness of it. This is going to be the mountain that is furthest away. So it's going to have the lightest value and the least contrast. So I'm going to move on to this next ridge. And I am going to kind of go along the edge here with this darker value. Just like that. And working fairly quickly, I'm going to immediately kind of blend this out.
I don't remember working this fast. Maybe that was the problem too.
Was that the problem?
One of many problems.
Listen, we did a great job, okay? Okay, So I'm putting in this shadow, and I kind of want it to transition to this lighter value. We want it to transition kind of smooth. So whenever there's a part, and I hope you guys kind of watched that video I did the other day about the values, whenever there is a strong value jump and you don't want that, then all you have to do is kind of blend in between and blend out that line. Now it's okay if right at the ridge it's a little bit darker. But I'm not going to put that in yet. I think I'll probably wait till step 3. But we just want kind of a darker color going on. And this is also where you can put in, if you just want to grab some of the orchid by itself, you can put in a little bit of that purple right here in that wash. Oh, that's pretty. Brock, look at that. Look at that purple in there.
It's dang pretty.
That looks good.
That does look good.
So this is where you would want to do that, is this medium value. Okay, and then I'm going to move on to the next ridge, which is right here. And right at the right hand side is where I'm going to put in my darker side and then blend it out. Brandy said, seriously, why have I been painting with acrylics all my life? Because this is easy and awesome. Brandy, me and you are the same, girl. I love watercolor so much more than acrylic. I always have. I feel like watercolor does so much of the work for you, and it's smooth. I feel like acrylic kind of gets gummy really easy and kind of plasticky. So sorry if I offended anybody that likes acrylics, but I like watercolor more. How you doing, Brock?
Fine. I'm fine.
You're doing great. Okay, now on yours, what I would say is I would go back and do another medium value and have this side. We want it to transition. See how this kind of transitions smoothly? This is kind of just an area where it's all one value. So make it a little darker over here and then let it transition smoothly to over here. So the left side is going to be lighter and your right side is going to be darker.
Smart. That's really smart.
Looks good, Brock.
Uh-oh, Robin said she just mixed her round into her drink. Happy Tuesday, Robin. I literally have started putting lids on all of my cups because I was doing that so much for all of my drinking beverages. Okay, I'm gonna keep on going. I'm gonna go across to my, I'm gonna put a couple of medium values here on my rocks. Not on all of them, I'm just gonna do like 2 over here. And I'm not covering up my light value totally. I still want that light value there a little bit because I want to see that range. So just in like more in the center is where I put that medium value. And then when I go and do this dark value on the last run, I'll do another one probably in the center of that. Okay, and I'm going to keep going. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thanks.
Okay. Then I'm going to move to this big eye over here. And same thing, I'm going to start off putting in my medium. And you just kind of want to keep blending it down. But it's going to transition into the lighter value that you already have there. I'm a huge fan of laying the color down first and then just using the water to spread it out. But I also tend to work fairly fast. So if that doesn't work for you to where your paint is drying really quick, then try and just have that medium value ready to pull from instead of starting darker and then just working it all lighter, if that makes any sense. Then I'm going to also put in a little bit of purple here too. And remember your brush strokes, you kind of want to match that slope angle that's going on. So I'm not painting up and down like this, I'm painting at an angle. Yep.
That's about right.
And then you blend out.
That's the ticket.
That's the ticket right there.
Yeah.
Me and Brock both have a favorite accent, which is the New Zealand accent.
Sometimes we get a bit Kiwi here.
Sometimes we talk in that accent for a little bit at a time.
It's probably not a good accent.
It's really
I think it
not.
sounds great. I've
But-
never met anyone from New Zealand. So
Really?
I would believe you are from there.
I
love.
love my inner Flight of the Conchords. Britain, do you mind?
When I went to BYU Hawaii, there were a lot of. My soccer coach there was actually from New Zealand, so you hear that accent a lot, and I think it's really one of the most beautiful and fun accents there are. I absolutely love it. So yeah, randomly, me and Brock will just bust out an accent.
We're professional individuals. But
Sometimes you just need a little.
sometimes we're silly.
What's life without a little bit of silliness? Okay, so I have my medium value in. What?
Rebecca says, I'm an Aussie with a lot of time in New Zealand. You sound more South African.
Well, that's probably true.
I've heard worse things today.
I said, God damn.
I guess we'll just have to go and check it out for ourselves.
Worth it.
Work trip?
Yes. Okay, so I put in my medium values. Our mountain should hopefully be taking even more of a form and kind of start to emerge in terms of shapes.
Sarah, what should I do with these hard lines?
Okay. So Brock put in his outline here, but he's having a hard time blending it out.
I got too busy talking in my Kiwi accent.
Yeah.
South African accent.
Sometimes when you leave watercolor, you get some hard lines going on. So he probably waited a little bit too long for this to blend out. So all you have to do is just use another layer to kind of go over it and then blend that out.
Brilliant.
So you still might get a little bit of that line, but if you kind of just go over and work that, then it should hopefully get rid of that line. Also, we still have another layer to go, so don't stress about this because we're really going to cover it up with the dark value anyway.
That's what I do when I don't feel super cute, is I put on more layers.
Genius.
Like, not feeling good today? Where's that hoodie?
Where's that hoodie? Where's that coat?
Where's that jacket? Oh, man.
Okay. And then I'm just going to keep kind of blending out. Great job.
Don't ruin my great snow textures, though.
I'm sorry, I won't. I won't touch it anymore.
No, you're good.
Brock's like, can you stop painting on my painting, please?
I have to co-sign this with you, and Sarah.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on and do our dark values. Now we might have to do 1 or 2 runs of this, so don't stress out if that's how it happens for you. So I'm gonna just mix some more paint.
I actually think one of the reasons that this is going better is that you are mixing the paint colors.
Oh.
It's so great when I have the exact perfect shade already mixed up for me.
Also, I don't think we did the whole layering thing very well.
That wasn't a
went
thing.
straight from dark to
That's how I taught
blend.
it. That's how I taught it in the pre-recorded. That's why I said I'm switching up the steps this time so it might help you guys be more successful. So I'm switching it up. I'm keeping you
excellent.
guys on your toes.
Hey, while we're chit-chatting and not painting,
Yeah,
I had a question from Cedar Bomb on the YouTube.
sure.
I just did this based off of your last live stream. It was awesome.
Oh,
Any tips for how to avoid my layers getting streaky on my darkest mountain?
oh, I guess I would have to see a picture to know what she's talking about by streaky. So you can email us and I can take a look at it. I'll let you know.
Nice.
You can put in my email. Should I say my email?
No, hello at Let's Make Art.
Hello at Let's Make Art. Do hello at Let's Make Art. Our customer service will forward that on to me and I will reply to it. Brock, so glad you're here.
So many emails.
I'm like, let me give you my personal email address.
My address, my house address, in case you want to stop by for snapping.
Okay,
Yeah,
that was a perfect question time, Keenan. Good job. Okay, I'm gonna do one more little dark layer on this left-hand side, and it's just gonna be a little bit. It's not gonna be as heavy on here, but I feel like I just need a little bit more definition on this line, and fairly quickly, I'm gonna blend this guy out. Sometimes you're gonna paint faster than you're used to, and that's just the nature with watercolors. There we go. And that's all I'm gonna do to that. I'm not gonna do another layer. It's a little bit, there's some lines going on in there, but if anything, I feel like that adds a textural element to the snow. I'm good with it. Okay, now I'm gonna do, Brock is just whispering to himself how great he is.
I think they can hear it.
Can they? Good, I'm so glad you guys are witnessing it. That's the ticket, that's it. Okay, so on this right-hand side where this slope is right here, I'm going to only make it dark on the right. And then I don't want to blend out the entire thing because I want it to stay dark, so I'm only touching the edge and softly blending that out so it's not a hard line. Yep. Yep. Yes. 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 Yes, Brock. Good job. Good job. Okay. So it's just a little hint of that dark value. That's really all you need. Okay, now on the rocks, I'm going to put a couple little dits. Maybe I'm going to try my rough texture on this side. Let's just see. You don't have to try this on yours. This is the first time I'm doing it. I just like to do things on the edge. Oh! I like to take chances while I paint.
Edge of the mountain.
Great children's book.
It's not working the same on here. Oh, Keenan, did you see someone commented about your mountain book? I thought that was so sweet.
I tagged you in it.
Yeah.
So it's just a little rock hint over there. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the beast of the mountain. Now we're gonna do our dark value on our big old mountain here. So this one, I'm gonna start heavy.
Sorry, Robin wants to know dits or doots, and I think it really just depends on if you're going up or down.
Which one's up? Is dits up and doots down?
Yeah, dits is definitely on the upstroke, doots is on the downstroke.
Good job.
Yeah, pro tip.
Pro tip. Okay, so I'm putting in my dark value, and then because I want a smooth transition, I'm gonna blend some of this out.
Wait, did you guys, where's your dark value?
Here.
Oh, okay. Whew, just almost used the wrong dark value.
Went way too dark on that one.
And you don't feel like you have to like have it totally even. If you look on the example here, there are some areas where I let the light value through. There's a section here, and up through here. So don't feel like your dark value has to be totally even across the entire thing. We want to show that range of value from here. So you're gonna spread it out, and then there are gonna be some areas that you're just not gonna fill in. You're just gonna let those be.
I just want you guys to know, Mary's been dropping jokes this whole time.
Mary, I'm gonna have to go back and look at those jokes.
They're great.
Where does she live? Because she needs to be here.
Mary, where are you?
She's not the hero we need. She's the one we deserve. Wait.
No, we don't deserve it. Okay, so I'm putting in my dark values, and then I'm just taking my brush and spreading them out. But not totally evenly. We're gonna let it get a little bit streaky. We're gonna let it get kind of messy.
Mary says she's from West Texas.
Ooh,
West Texas.
How quite the drive.
Is it?
We're in Missouri, so.
Listen, I just moved here. I'm not very good with geography. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. And I'm just gonna kind of keep going across my entire mountain. Remember to keep doing these kind of angled brush strokes. We don't want to see anything straight up and down. I was gonna say something and then change my mind.
Okay. Well,
that happens often.
It does.
Not to you, to me. I meant to me.
Okay, I'm like, that's fine, Keenan throwing shade. And then when I get to this side, I'm gonna go back to this angle. Because this kind of mountain is gonna, the ridge goes across and then it kind of opens up towards us. And I feel like I need some more purple in mine. I just really love going back and just putting strong color in places That's not everybody's cup of tea, so if you don't feel like doing that, then don't. But I love pops of color. Yep. Yep, that's all I have to say. I love pops of color. And then when I'm putting in these colors, I'm lifting my brush in between. So I put down the color and I kind of lift it up a bit, and then I put a little bit more down. So it's not just kind of going back and forth. It's like, here's some over here. Okay, and that is looking pretty darn awesome. The one thing I didn't do, which I wish that I would have, is I did leave some white spaces kind of on this front part of the mountain to act as snow on that ridge. I forgot to do that in this, but I'm not mad about it. It's really not a big deal. And if you guys have that bleed proof white from Dr. P.H. Martin, when this is dry, just go back with that white, or you can even use gouache or acrylic paint. It will work the same. You're just gonna do little highlights of white, like little chunks of snow as if it was right on that mountain. Okay, I think Lena said she tried from the tutorial but didn't work out. She'll need to try again from the live. Yes, try again with this live. I switched up the steps and I feel better about this one. Do you guys feel? You were there for both.
Yeah, I like this one a lot more.
Yeah, I think this one's going well. Brandy asked if a gel pen would work. Yeah, a gel pen would work. Just anything that's a little bit opaque and white should do the trick. Okay. So I feel really good. I'm gonna let this dry for a second before I do my kind of rock texture right here, because I want those to be a little bit sharper, and if I try and do it right now while it is wet, it would just kind of diffuse out. So I'm gonna give that a second to dry. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually play with some of these textures down here, like these kind of shadows on my mountain. I'm just gonna add a little bit more to them.
These are from YouTube.
Okay.
From Cedar Bomb.
Wow.
Those are looking great. So which ones what questions does she have?
These were her first tries, is what it's labeled.
Those are awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know why she's complaining.
I'll take
First of all, those are great. But email those in with the specific questions and I'll take a look at that for you. Okay. I'm gonna add a little bit of purple to this, to just a little bit of hint on my soft kind of shadows on this snow. And then I'm gonna blend this out just a little bit more. Good call, good call.
Nicole popped in to say hi.
Nicole?
Yep.
Nicole, hello. I miss you, my friend. Nicole she has taught some hand lettering. She does awesome. And Nicole, I actually wanted to tell you that my little Ella, who is 7, she has been writing her name in cursive like you taught her on all of her pictures. And it is so cute. I'm gonna have to send you a picture. She taught Ella how to letter her name last time she was out here, and my little 7-year-old just about died. She loved it so much. Okay, that is looking pretty darn good. Now I'm gonna see, the top part is kind of dry. I'm gonna try my rough texture there.
I love watching how you paint because it seems like you have more paper than we do.
More paper?
Yeah, it seems like you utilize more of the paper to make the picture, like it just seems like you have a larger sheet of paper.
Keenan, don't tell them that I'm actually working on this huge notepad. No, just kidding. We're all using the same size. That's so funny. Okay, so I'm gonna try doing some, oh, that was not dry enough.
Wow.
Maybe I'll dry it on my paper towel and see what that does.
That's the best of us.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that's kind of cool. Ah, yeah. I like what that's doing. So this is like as if it was like rocks kind of sticking out through that snow. And you're getting kind of that rough texture. I am gonna smooth some of that out just a little bit because I like my smoothness.
Nicole says, "Aw," with 14 W's. And said, "Tell her I say hi and want to see her lettering next month, heart."
Okay, I will tell her that, Nicole.
I just want to play soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Nicole's also an excellent soccer player.
She is.
So Sarah. So's Keenan.
Thank you.
I'm not a soccer player.
You guys all do a great job.
She's like, "You're fast."
Keenan,
all
you
she said
are
to me.
fast, but you're a good soccer player too.
Oh, shoot. It's like that time Sarah tried to score a goal, and I said, good try, Sarah. But it actually went in.
It did go in.
Or the time when Sarah said, "You might as well have scored 0 because you lost."
Listen, I can't.
Classic.
I get a little competitive when I play soccer.
In
Okay.
art, it's just water on paper.
I
But
try
in
really,
soccer,
I try really hard to fight that part of me. I'm way better than I used to be because I used to be extremely competitive. Okay. So I'm gonna go back and do a couple more kind of my rocks sticking out because I feel like this, and this is called wet on dry, and this is the part you do usually. It's the very last step, and it's those final details that just add an extra element that are a little bit sharper. So I did kind of my rough texture over here with my snow. I thought it turned out pretty cool. And then I'm gonna, in these front ones, I'm gonna just do my kind of dark kind of rocks. And remember, they're kind of like a series of dashes. They're not perfectly thick, like one single stroke line. It's kind of like, here's a part of a rock, and there's a little bit. It's not meant to be these perfect thick lines because that's not how we see things. Yeah, very nice. And remember to kind of keep that same angle.
do we need to blend these out, or we want them harsh?
I'm gonna leave most of these harsh. I'm gonna softly blend a couple of them out, but for the most part, I want to keep them nice and sharp, because this is also how we tell the viewer that something is closest to us, especially when we're doing a landscape, is if there is a high contrast and if it is sharp. So just in any landscape painting, the foreground should be high contrast, sharp, strong colors, and then as it goes back into space in your painting, it's going to be diffused, less contrasty, and that is called atmospheric perspective.
Is that a real thing?
It is a real thing. I learned it in art school.
Never heard of it.
Well, did you go to art school?
I went to a school.
Or have you watched any of
that
the
had-
latest tutorials?
Have you watched? Because I probably, anytime we do a landscape, I say atmospheric
Yes.
perspective. Even when we don't do a landscape. I think in the boots one I said that.
Yeah, boots.
Which I'm like, that didn't have to belong there, but.
If you ask Siri to beatbox, she goes, boots and cats and boots and cats.
Does she really?
Boots. That's just when you said boots.
Okay.
Not related at all.
I put a little bit darker back there just because I felt like it. Don't feel like you have to. It's your painting. If you're good with yours, then don't do it. But we're done, you guys. I feel really good about mine, Brock. How do you feel about yours?
Much better than the first time, that's for sure.
I think it looks great. I honestly think both of them looked really awesome. I think you guys were being way hard on yourself.
Ooh.
No, because we don't compare.
You know,
Actually,
I
with
don't-
yourself, you
Yeah,
can.
you can compare with yourself.
You can't
How
compare
you've
with yourself.
improved.
Okay. Brock, are you ready to hold yours up?
Looking a little color. Looking a little color. I'm
Okay.
just gonna fill that out just a skosh more.
Now, you can do anything extra on yours. I know that sometimes I leave the projects like floating or a lot of white space, and that's because I like giving you guys the opportunity to make it your own. And also, I like strong defined things on a white background. It's just my aesthetic. It doesn't have to be yours. So if you want to put in a sky, feel free to. This is your painting. So Tiffany asks, if the pencil marks are light, how can you make it so you can tell the mountain and the sky from each other? That's a great question. In my example, you can't. If you look at the white part on this mountain and the background, there is no separation between those things.
Your brain just makes it.
The brain just makes it by the implied lines of the angles from the mountain. If you don't like that, that is totally okay. You can put in a light, soft color sky there and define that line a little bit more. Okay, Brock, are we gonna hold ours up?
Yeah.
Are we going to that close-up?
It's up to you, side camera.
Just first time?
Sometimes they switch it up. Sometimes she just skips things.
You know what, Brock? Keenan, you're doing great. Thanks for asking.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks for asking.
I can't zoom away. Let me just scoot this back for you.
Oh, wait. Don't we usually use the side cam to do close-up?
Yeah, but Brock's much larger than our usual guests.
Then Molly,
That's true.
who was here last
That's
time.
really true. Anytime.
I'm making sure they can hear. Okay, here you go,
Okay.
guys.
Okay, guys.
There it is.
Can they see it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, those look so good. Ah, well done.
Good job, you guys. Okay. First of all, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for painting with me. I really appreciate it. I love that you guys take the time out for yourself to do this. And you're really awesome for doing it. You guys want to see next week?
Yes.
Yes.
We are doing our Rainbow Unicorn. This project is so fun. So we'll really, I just poked myself in the eye with that paper. Sorry, it's fine, it's fine. We're gonna release that tutorial tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that video. And we'll paint this live together next Tuesday night, same time, same place, 7:15. We'll be here. It's gonna be great. If you guys painted this, share it. I would love to see it. You guys have been doing a great job sharing your mountains, even though most of you have been really hard on yourselves. But I love that we're taking the time to share things that we're not 100% proud of, because we have to get rid of that stigma that you only share art when it's perfect. We need to get rid of that, because we need to get people okay with creating, and it's not going to be perfect every single time. You guys did so great with that. So if you do it on Instagram, tag us in it. Our Instagram name is Let's Go Make Art. Facebook is the same. We have an awesome Facebook community called Let's Make Art Together, where people share ideas, and it's just a really welcoming, non-judgmental free, is that right?
Judgment-free?
Judgment-free zone.
I think just like free in general.
Yeah, yeah. So Brock, thanks for painting with me. You did
Anytime.
great.
Thank you.
I had a good time with you, Keenan, always.
Thank you.
And I think that's all I need to say. Okay, bye.